Hey guys, Ash here with another Shadow Legends Champion Guide. Welcome to the video. Hopefully you're all doing well out there today. We have NOCT the Paralyzer today, and boy, he's a good and a very unique champion as well. And I was pretty shocked. Sometimes it's weird, like not weird, but it's unexpected the amount of requests I get for one champion versus another, champion in the game. NOCT the Paralyzer, this might be true. Anecdotally, it feels like I have not gotten any more requests for any one champion inside the entire game for over a year here on the channel than I have for NOCT the Paralyzer. It speaks to, this champion, like how cool he is. And it also speaks to probably the lack of content out there on YouTube or the internet on him. Anyway, a shout out for a few of you guys. I've gotten almost 100 comments asking for NOCT the Paralyzer, so I'm not going to name you all, but massive shout out to all of you. Actually, I do want to name the very first one that I had on the screen here. Antonio says, "Hey Ash, thank you for all the help with your builds. My son and I watch all your content and came across the Nishak and NOCT video you did years ago. Wanted to ask for a NOCT guide, especially with the new blessings, etc. Thank you again." Hey, well, first of all, I don't have an awakened NOCT, so I will give recommendations, but I can't show you him with any blessings on. But I have to say, it's as a father myself, it's like the coolest thing when dads or moms and their kids, it doesn't matter, but family members watch this channel or any of my content together. It's flattering and it's awesome. So shout out to all of you guys out there. And again, I can't name you all on this one, but if you see your name going by, I really appreciate you guys take the time to leave a request for a champion or two here on the channel. Let's go ahead and take a look at NOCT the Paralyzer. All right, guys, so NOCT the Paralyzer is a dark elf. I always forget, for whatever reason in my head, I always forget if he's undead or dark elf. I guess his aesthetic could kind of almost fit into either category, but he looks freaking cool, right? I mean, he's got kind of the spider vibe going on the back. He's got the long ponytail thing going on, and he looks like an absolute monster, a maniac, a beast. He's an HP-based legendary champion. He has a really robust base stats on his kit, 22k on the HP, 99 on the speed, about average. He does bring HP in dungeons by 35%, so a really solid dungeon aura for survivability. On his Haze of Pain on the A1 ability, attacks one enemy, has a 80% chance when booked to placing a decreased accuracy. 80% decreased accuracy on the A1 is not too bad. Not too bad. It can definitely come in handy. It's not going to be the highlight of his kit, but it's a solid debuff to have there. On Dreamer's Demise, now we're getting into the good stuff here. On a 3-turn cooldown when booked, attacks all enemies. And I'll just say it right now. If you think you can use this sort of a skill set, which is going to be a lot of support, buffs, healing, poison, and some CC, some sleep, right? So Sand Devil, Dragons, Clan Boss are the best areas for this dude. If you think you can utilize his skill set, then he's definitely worth the books, because we really want to get this poison up to a 100% on the A2 ability. Now, he does have a passive effect in addition to this. He's placing the sleep on an AoE and 2 poisons. Passive effect on this ability is places 2 additional poisons for 2 turns whenever a sleep debuff placed by this skill is removed or disappeared after an enemy takes damage. So it's really great, right? As long as somebody with an AoE is going after him, you can immediately wake up, the mobs on like wave content, and thus you can land those 4 poisons on a 3-turn cooldown. On the A3, it is Heady Fumes. Attacks 3-turn cooldown. The books go right to the cooldown, which is great. Place an ally protection, big version on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also 1 continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. So a great damage mitigation ability on his A3, obviously eating up 50% of damage that everybody takes, and healing in addition to that. But his healing does not stop there. Check out this passive, Somnolence, heals this champion by 3% of their max HP, and all allies except this champion by 1% of this champion's max HP every time a poison debuff ticks on an enemy. So it's based off his HP, so we want to have his HP as high as we can. Whenever an ally is attacked while under an ally protection buff, 40% chance of placing a sleep debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. We do need accuracy for that, but it's a great built-in control ability right off of the passive, again, especially for Sand Devil's Necropolis, but can be useful in wave content as well. We already talked about the aura. Let's go ahead and pull up the build. A little bit unorthodox on the build, probably not the first thing that anybody would guess clicking on this video, but I kind of want to illustrate the power, or lack thereof, you guys can be the judge, of a curing set, okay? Why does curing make a lot of sense on NOCT the Paralyzer? A, he's constantly applying poisons, thus healing from his passive, right? A. B, it also restores the amount of destroyed HP equal to bonus healing on the curing set, which obviously will benefit you greatly in Sand Devil, where he's very good as a sleep applier from his passive and his A2 ability. So I like the fact that the curing kind of restores the destroyed HP along with his normal heals that he's bringing in his kit, right? We have a perception set. Triple perception is absolutely fine as well on this champion. What I want to do is I'm actually going to run Dragon twice in today's video, one with the curing set and one without the curing set, just to compare those overall heals. What can you actually expect with 20% bonus heal? Like, how much bang for your buck can you get out of that? Total stats here, I have 75k on the HP, 2600 on the defense, 252 on the speed, 120 on the crit rate, 92 crit damage, 380 on the accuracy. I do have accuracy on the banner. I didn't build him to be a nuker. I don't even have crit damage on the gauntlets, but I happened to find, actually, well, you know what I did is I put crit rate on the, I want to remove that. I put crit rate on the gauntlets to test out his multipliers on the A2, and I forgot to remove it, frankly. But I think I would rather have the HP percentage, even though his multipliers honestly aren't bad, guys. I mean, I was pretty surprised to see that he has a 0.23 on the single target on Haze of Pain, but he has a 0.25 HP multiplier on his AoE on Dreamer's Demise, which is it's significant. Like, that's like Eric's level hits almost, you know, in terms of an AoE. So I wanted to test out that damage a little bit. You know, it's nice. It's decent damage, but I think that the majority of his damage is still going to come from those 2 or 4 poisons, and the majority of his utility outside of that is all about heals and keeping people alive and supporting the team and CCing and all that other stuff. So I'd rather have the better heals, the bigger heals out of the passive. So I decided personally, I would rather go with extra HP, even if he's staying alive, right? Even if I have no problems keeping this dude alive, I'd prefer the extra HP for the extra heals off of his max HP on the passive. So now we have 87k with 248 on the speed. His defense is pretty low, 2600. His base defense isn't that bad at 1255, but we didn't scale it very well here. We have 1694 crit rate, crit damage. Again, that's a nice to have, but certainly not imperative on this champion. I do have speed on the boots. I have HP percentage on the chest, and I have HP percentage now, as we saw, on the gauntlets. Let's see what we can get for an ascension stat here. I did a little bit of farming over the night, but we're not going to go ahead and do anything with the attack percentage for now. All right, so I mentioned perception. I think that would be my next best choice on this champion. Now, there is a world where you could use him to kind of help solo poison susceptible bosses, in which case you could consider like a regen or immortal sets on him. Obviously, he's going to benefit from the immortal sets anyway because of the extra HP that he gets from it. All right, skills time. Blessings. Well, I think that Miracle Heal's the way to go on this dude. For the same reason that I like that curing set. We have a chance to destroy 100% fully at 6-star, to destroy max HP when healing, restores destroyed max HP equal to 30% of the heal, and then that can go down 20% of the heal, 15% of the heal, and 10% of the heal on 1 star. Other options for him, obviously, you could go Brimstone, right, for extra damage. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either. It just depends on what you need, right? For Sand Devil, for example, I would probably go with Emergency Heal, or Miracle Heal, excuse me. Emergency Heal is cool, but we don't have shield, so that's not going to be the case, or an option, I should say. Brimstone, though, yeah, I mean, we're going to be building with accuracy anyway, and you need those smites out there, just so much damage. So if you don't have a Brimstone champion, he's a good candidate. And then he's not much of an arena champion, but if he was, I would obviously go Polymorph there, right? No surprises. All right, Masteries here, guys. I actually want to redo these Masteries. This is my old build that I had on him. I needed the extra accuracy, and you can honestly make a case that I still need that extra accuracy. So let's do one run this way, but I will give you an, you know what, I'll just stay with these Masteries, but I'll give you an alternate build thanks to hellhades.com. Obviously, I'm trying to min-max his healing here, right? And his restored HP in this particular build and his accuracy. So I'm getting Master Hexer to extend the duration of his poisons, which I think is extremely valuable and a wise move, right? If you're not booking him up, I would definitely go with Sniper as well. Either way, Sniper will benefit his A1 and bring that decreased accuracy up to an 85%, right? Healing. Lasting gifts to extend the duration of the continuous heals, right, on his A3. And then Merciful Aid, Healing Savior, and Lay on Hands, all to just min-max the heals out of his passive, right? So those are the masteries that I have him in right now to really maximize his support. I'm sure, yes, Clan Boss Unkillable, Dungeon Carry. I would say even more than Dungeon Carry, I would just go with the Clan Boss Killable, excuse me, where he's a great option, right? An old school poison Clan Boss team. He can keep everybody alive, keep everybody healed, support them as well. And at the same time, he can drop a lot of poisons. All right. This is the build that I would go with just for like a very generalist PvE build, right? It's nice to have that War Master to get a little bit of damage out of this dude beyond the poisons, you know? So I think this is an absolutely fine option to go as well. What was the other one they went with? They ended with actually Oppressor. Oppressor's a weird one. I think I'd probably just go with Timely Intervention over Oppressor personally, but it's a hard one. No one has... I've talked to the brightest minds in all of Raid, and it's hard to decide between Oppressor and Timely Intervention in terms of they both have a very similar impact, but in aggregate over the course of a long battle, which one performs better consistently, I think that's still kind of up in the air, at least from everybody. That I had a whole 1 hour video with Saf of HH Gaming, and it was, we kind of debated it back and forth, and there were varying opinions in the comments as well. TLDR, the way it's coded, Oppressor, that mastery, is very strange. It's very unclear exactly how it works. Anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and try him out here, guys. NOCT the Paralyzer. So I wanted to show you Dragon first, right? Now, I have him on a Poison Combust team because why the heck not, right? You don't have to run him on a Poison Combust team. The cool thing about him is he fits into so many different types of teams, right? Right here, we're going to apply a couple poisons, Bad Alcazar. It's funny, with him on the team here, I don't even really need Bad Alcazar. I'd rather have like a Tomb Lord or a Richthof the Bold, basically somebody to land more than 2 poisons, because Bad Alcazar, to me, he serves a very similar role as a NOCT the Paralyzer, right? He's applying poisons and also healing everybody and keeping everybody alive, right? Now, obviously, Battle has that beautiful cleanse. Moreover, he has that passive, which is very, very nice. But what I'm trying to say is I could get away with a little bit more poison, like a Corvus the Corruptor or something, because I have NOCT on the team, right? So I want to draw your attention here to the amount of heals that happens every turn. 1240, right? 1,240 in terms of the heals that we're seeing every time a poison ticks off the dragon or any enemy. We're also seeing that he takes a ton of damage here because of all the ally protection. We weren't able to keep Eleanor alive, but it's okay. She's inconsequential when it comes to the actual dragon. She's there to get us through the, not to say that she can't help, but she's there to primarily get us through the waves. But I wanted to draw your attention to those numbers. 1,193. 1,193 per heal, right? That's how much or per passive, I should say. Per poison is the right word. Obviously, that's going to add up a lot. He dies at the very end there, but it's totally cool. At this point, Stalthus can just solo. But what I want to do is I want to take off the curing set and just compare the passive heals, right? So if we can finish this dragon anytime. Okay, there we go. So total stats here. He puts out 100k damage. Again, that's all coming from the Eleanor Poison Combusto, the poison damage, so don't read into the damage numbers here. But 677,000, not too bad in terms of total healing. Let's go ahead and switch, as I mentioned, and let's just take off. Let's just replace, one of his curing pieces. All right, guys, so I just threw on a random destroy with the same speed on the weapon slot. Now we're just going to compare the numbers. It was like 1193, I want to say, on the heals. So let's get back to the dragon and see how he does without the curing set. Now, I'm not here to tell you that curing is so OP and you should absolutely go curing set no matter what. I just want you guys to, have a good idea of what you're working with in terms of how much of an impact can it really have. Now, keep in mind, it's not going to be super significant, but it's going to add up times 10, 20, 40, 70 times every time a poison ticks, right, throughout the duration of the battle. So here we go, going into the dragon again. Let's see what we can do. Let's apply some poisons so we can actually see the heals, please. And Eleanor dies just like she did last time. Great. We finally have some poisons applied, which is fantastic. We come in here, and now I didn't even see the number. It happened so... Okay, 995. 995 is the new number without the curing set. So there might be like plus minus a tiny bit, just based on if there was a little bit extra, less HP on that weapon. But for the most part, we're looking at around 200 extra per heal. It's just hard to quantify that, just given the sheer amount of heals that he is unleashing throughout the duration of the battle. There's a lot. It's not even one heal at a time. It's all of these poisons equal one 995 heal, which you can see everywhere. So the battle goes pretty much the same way. We're going to finish it a little bit sooner here, but that is the power of curing set. It took his overall heals down to 555, but again, it's hard to read it based on individual match RNG. It's hard to read that much into those numbers, but I can tell you that the longer the battle, the more significant a curing set is going to benefit you in any area of the game. Now, as I mentioned, I do think that it will help you out quite a bit more in Sand Devil, because we're also restoring destroyed max HP. So let's get him back into that curing weapon. And then let's just run him on he's not going to be fast enough, unfortunately, in the build that we have right now for the final stage of, I thought I had a mythical weapon on him. Am I making that up? That's very weird. I could have, oh, I do. It's right here in front of my face. There it is. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not even going to cut it out. I'm not ashamed. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take you into Sand Devil, just like a kind of a mid-level stage. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to overthink anything here, right? I want to go against a Spirit Affinity just so we have a good affinity matchup for him. And all I did here was basically throw him with one reviver or two revivers, right? And then a couple cleansers and one enemy max HP champion, right? So I'm going full. Actually, I probably shouldn't go full auto here. I should try to sneak in let's just get a Blessed Bash in there. I should try to sneak in a sleep right out the gate here, right? So we have a sleep and we have two poisons, right? So we'll go ahead and, just go a full auto from here on out. But you can see right there, that's part of the magic, right? He applies the sleep, then he applies the damage afterwards vis-a-vis the poisons. But the real magic in my mind is as he's going to die a lot because of the ally protection, right? He doesn't even have it up right now, and he's still dying a lot. But it's okay. That's why we have two revivers on the team with him. But the magic of him is when as soon as he gets that ally protect out there, we can start sleeping the Sand Devil, not just relying on that A2, but also relying on the passive, a 40% chance per hit, as you guys are already aware. So he brings a lot more viability, versatility, utility, however you want to say it, to Sand Devil than a lot of other sleep champions that I hear mentioned. There he goes again. He applies a sleep, he drops a couple poisons, everything's looking pretty good. We could come in here and we could combust the poisons if we wanted to as well, depending on the rest of the champions on the team. So there it is. I mean, you're seeing again, we're only at stage 15 here, nothing crazy. I just picked totally rando champions, nothing speed tuned. There's no team setup here, nothing. I would go in and open with the A2 instead of the A3, but I honestly don't even think that's going to make a big difference because we still have the chance to sleep off the passive, and either way, it might add a little bit of time to the match, but it's just going to be a game of keeping him slept and getting Newt in there to do the enemy max HP abilities. Even if we die, Godseeker Aniri is going to be there to pick us up. And again, he landed it with the poisons, just like we keep talking about here on his last A2 ability. So it's a great way to kind of control, and keep in mind all of those heals, right? Every time those poisons go off, we're also restoring the reduced enemy max HP. And you guys, I hear from beginners a lot. When the first time there's tackling Sand Devil, maybe they just don't read the entirety of his skills or whatever it may be. But I notice a lot of new players are like, why am I dying towards the end of the battle? Like, I feel like everything goes great. And then as I get his health around 50%, 33%, 25%, that's when I notice he's hitting a lot harder. He's not hitting a lot harder. He's just reduced your HP so much that it gets incredibly challenging at the end of the match because you have most of your max HP has been destroyed. On a team like this, he's going to mitigate that destroyed HP and help you through content that otherwise you may really struggle with, right? For Sand Devil as you're progressing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this guide on NOCT the Paralyzer. Again, we're seeing a ton of healing, even out healing Godseeker Aniri, Reliquary Tender, who are very competent healers in their own rights. Mausoleum Mage as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this guide. Keep the requests coming. Much love. And as always, take care, guys.